Hello, everyone. Good morning and good evening. Welcome back to today's session. So, friends, every day we have some wisdom. So, today, Sunday, we are having the wisdom topic. Today, we'll learn about learning, doing, and being. We have, I have told many times, or we have read many times, we move from learning to doing to being. But how this happens? Meditation helps us in mostly in the emotional regulation. Emotions, nothing from our past actions or reactions, right? So, with wisdom and with meditation, we can move to learning to doing to being, not repeating the same pattern, but learning new things, doing, and ultimately being in the state. So, let's understand more about this being. So, we have in the past session, we have gone through this. This is a human brain and the limbic system, which is also called as a subconscious mind, right? It has mostly two regions. One is hippocampus and the second one is the amygdala. This hippocampus is responsible for learning and the memory. It stores, right, whatever we are learning. And the amygdala is mostly about the emotional regulation, the reactivity, how we react to certain things, right? So we have seen that in the past, that when we do this meditation, the hippocampus region gets thick and strengthened so that we have good memory power. And this amygdala region, it gets shrink so that we have less of a thought, fears, anger, and those kind of negative emotions, right? Those get reduced when we regular practice of meditation. This prefrontal cortex, which is for mostly the frontal part of the brain here, is mostly for attention, concentration, and focus. Most of our learning happen from the prefrontal cortex, and then it processes and goes into the subconscious or the hippocampus region. So the amygdala is mostly for the reactions and the response. If someone says something to you, right? If immediately, if your mind, it feels like this is a threat for me, or there is some danger, then this amygdala get active, this region. And then it feels that it has to make the body ready for you to either react or try to escape from situation. It can be any physical danger or any kind of situation. So if based on someone's reaction, if amygdala feels this is a threat, then it's active immediately, and it's activate the fight or flight mode. We understood earlier also, right? When this gets activated, how we go into the stress and what are the diseases and everything we get. So how this amygdala hijack it happens, how this response happens in the brain. Let's understand more about this. Right. So the amygdala get hijacked in a stressful state. Suppose if someone is coming, they're shouting, or if you see some danger, some animal, anything coming towards you, or someone is shouting in anger, then what happens? First, we hear our sensory, right? Ear, eyes, they sense, they see things, and they give a response. So based on that, amygdala will think, okay, so what should I do now? Should I get react or something? Then the neocortex, which is the frontal part of the brain, it says, because of the past learnings and all, it says, don't worry. It's your wife or it's your boss or someone the person. So just, be calm and be wait. Then again, the eyes, she's taking a rolling pan or sometime your boss you know, is coming more anger, is coming more closer or something, it sees. Then again, it sends the signal. Then again, the neocortex will say, let me think, stay calm. Let's see what the response is. But if again, if the eyes see the next step is, if they are coming very fast and too close, then the time the amygdala, it says, no, no, you can't wait. You have to take some action. And then instead of neocortex, the amygdala, it will take the charge. Okay, now the body has to either run or take some action or to try to escape. If it might be an office situation, if your boss or someone colleague says something happened, some issue came, you might be speaking about the general thing. But if you take it personal, oh, I might be get impacted. My colleague is saying general, but I'm working on that project. Might be, they are speaking about me indirectly. And if you feel threat, then what you'll do? Your mind starts preparing something. Okay, I have to say something. I have to get escape from this. Or you mentally prepare some kind of response, or you try to escape from the situation. Right? So amygdala gets immediate reaction or, a response. It starts preparing you. It makes the body alert. The fight and flight mode gets active, so you have to take some reaction or some step. So based on the senses and all, the input goes, and then the neocortex and the amygdala, they process what to do the next. But when we do this meditation, so what difference is happening? What is here changing? So let's understand more about this. So if you see this chart, meditation allows neural rewiring between the amygdala and prefrontal cortex. See, when you are not doing the meditation, so what happens? The amygdala sends a response. Then there is a disconnection, right? Amygdala takes over. So whatever response it feels, you try to escape from the situation, or if someone says something, you immediately get anger, you shout, you also say something, or you take some action, you hit, whatever that might be, unconsciously you take some action immediately because that's how it processes. And later, some time later, you might realize, oh, I shouldn't have done this, or this is no wrong, or whatever. But at that time, you take the immediate action. But if you are meditating, so what's happened? The connection with amygdala and prefrontal cortex, it still maintains. Meditation maintains that. And you consciously respond. You won't get anger. You be calm and you see what you can do without reacting or responding or going into the stressful state. By staying still, by staying calm, you take the reaction, what is right for at the time. So that connection will be formed by the meditation. So the conscious mind will be get activated if you are meditating. Otherwise, the amygdala will take over and you will do unconscious response or reactions. Right? We say when we do meditation, we are more aware, we are in mindfulness, we are in the present moment. So the conscious mind will be active and it will create the conscious response. If you are not aware, then amygdala will take over. So friends, this learning, doing and being, the neocortex, which is the frontal lobe, is we saw right in the first image, it's responsible for learning and thinking. So as we learn more and more new things, those get stored. And then the limbic system, which is subconscious mind, the doing brain, right? Immediately any situation comes, the response will come from the subconscious mind. It acts as that. If you're learning something new, it might be from the book, four agreements, right? Don't take anything personal. You have learned this. And then when someone comes, your relative or your friends, he says something to you in generic. Earlier, you might, you might have taken personal, you might have felt bad, you did a lot of things. But now, because you read, when the situation comes, immediately the learning thing, it comes, right? You remember, okay, I learned this. So you will try to change your response. Okay, let me not take this personal. Let them say anything. I won't feel bad. Okay, that's the nature, whatever it is, I will feel positive. If you uh, take that, then what happens? The earlier pattern, whatever was stored in subconscious mind, this new response, this new reaction will be stored. Because you consciously took an effort, what you learned, you tried to implement that. Right? You felt good about it. Then your friend will come and say, okay, I thought you'll be angry at me, but you were so calm. You were so good to me. Then when you hear, you feel positive. So that feeling, that experience got stored in the subconscious mind. Right? And the next time, if someone else comes, any other person, if they say something, immediately what happens? This new response will come out. Even you will not think, okay, I read this book or something. I no need to react. That's what the first thing will come immediately because the response is stored in your mind. It won't come from the previous experiences that got overridden by this new response, because you did that. You consciously you took an effort to change it. So that will be your being state. No matter whoever comes, they say anything, they react, you will be calm. You will be in that natural state. That response will come naturally. So that's how this learning, doing, being will happen in your mind, the response. So what is this learning, right? When any new, cells come, new connections, neural connection forms, right? That is what learning happens. The neuroplasticity gets activated when we do the regular practice of meditation. Many people, they say, oh, I cannot learn, old age people or who gets older, right? They say, but for the meditators, the neuroplasticity is always active. They can learn new things, they can remember new things, and they can recollect new, right? The neuroplasticity is nothing but creating new neuron cells and forming that connection. So 100 billion neurons, the connections we can form, that much capacity is there in the human brain. The cells that fire together, wire together. The more you learn about something, the stronger the connection is. Suppose we always teach to kid, right? Apple, anything, the text, they practice the writing. You might have done that few times. Apple, you might have wrote, you might have taught. That when it is in a text form, it will be stored. But if you recollect and repeat it multiple times, then that information gets stronger. Otherwise, if you don't recollect for a few days or few weeks, then that memory will be erased. You will lose that because you are not recollecting it anymore. But if the same thing, if you see it in a visual form, the apple, its color is red, the shape and everything, if you remember, there is some kind of stronger memory. It needs more neural connections because from text it takes some little neural connections, but for the image visuals to store in the mind, it takes more connections. So it will be, you can remember it for a longer time. And if the same thing, if you taste apple and you feel how sweet it is, how good it is, then that experience will take some more neural connections. So you can never forget that. You will always remember how good it tasted, like it was so good. That feeling is always there, right? So based on the information, how you store it, might be text or visuals or experience, you will form the strong connection. And then you can remember or store it for the longer period of time. And whenever you want, you can easily recollect it. That's how that learning happens on various, different things. So the experience, whatever you feel, it's always there. You won't forget it, right? Each neuron can connect from 40,000 to 100K, other neurons, and that's how the connection forms. And it can store up to 150 million songs, that much capacity is there, or 150 HD movies, that much memory is there. We can store things. So based on, it is text or visuals or experience, the connection forms and that gets stored. This is how the learning happens in our mind. The connection forms. And if you don't use it, ultimately you'll use it. Might be in a picture form or experience, but unless you recollect, it takes some longer time for the visuals or the experience to, fade away. But ultimately, if you didn't use for longer, more than a year or two, you likely use it. But if you recollect, then it's happened fast. That's why for kids and everyone we say read every day, repeat the same thing so that it gets stored, the connection gets stronger so that you cannot forget that easily. Right? So learning is new connections and the memory, stronger long-term connections. That's how it forms. Storing as text, need less connections, easy to lose. But storing as visuals and feelings, experience takes many more connections and easy to recover. You can, even though you miss it, it can easily recollect and remember. When you see, you will remember it again, right? So the learning retention, right? So they say when we hear from someone saying, right, from some lecture, or if I'm talking, if you hear that, you will have 5% of learning. You can store it. When you read something by yourself, that means you have 10%. Your memory gets stronger, your cells get stronger. And if you listen that from audio or visual, right, if you're watching any video or something, then it's 20% because the visuals are also there getting stored, right? The images or colors, anything. And seeing a demo, a practical thing, 30%. And when we discuss in the group, when everyone shares their point, you have a lot of discussion, you ask, you question, then you take, that will be 50%. And when you practice by yourself, that is 75%. And when all this you did, you listened from somewhere, you learned it, you did a practical, you did group discussion, and then when you teach, that means you already know everything. What you learned, you are sharing with others. That means 90%, because by the time you teach, you know everything about it. So 90% retention. You will not forget about it. That's how we can make that connection stronger by following these. So friends, learning, doing, and being, right? So in our brain, we can store up to 100 billion neurons. We can form that connection. We can store any memory. So neocortex collects and stores this, our frontal lobe. Learning is making new synaptic connection. Recollecting is making the connection stronger. The more you recollect, the more you remember, the more you read about it, you are making that connection stronger, right? We change our mind as we learn. So with that new learning, our response will change, and ultimately will become that being naturally, that response or that comes. So no need to try for that. So that's how we move from learning to doing to being. So whatever we read, so meditation helps us to naturally apply into practice. We have learned many things from childhood. We have learned a lot of books. We know, good habits, this, that. But practically, we cannot apply. Somewhere we give up. Okay, we'll do tomorrow. We feel lazy, or because the same one time, two times we feel lazy and we'll say, then the next time when we want to try anything, again the mind says, okay, leave it. You can try tomorrow. You can do after 5 minutes because it gives a similar response. But once you consciously, when the response is coming, no, let my mind say anything. This time I'm going to do it no matter what tomorrow. Anyway, I'll get up at 6 a.m. I won't, snooze my alarm or whatever. If you take that concentration, the next day, the third day, again, when the time comes and alarm comes, you will wake up. You won't, say, okay, let me sleep because you consciously made that effort and that is stored in your mind, that new response. So you will react in that way of the new response. So this is how this process happens. So wisdom and meditation will help us to learning, doing, being, and change us as a new person. Our perception changes, our reaction changes, our response also will change. So friends, I hope this was helpful to you all. You are able to get. So if anyone has any questions or want to share or anything, please you can raise your hand or you can ask or you can share your experience.
Thank you, Apurva, for the wonderful session. So, yeah, definitely the meditation helps us to moving from learning to doing to do being. So, whatever the wisdom we are learning here every day, either from the books or the regular wisdom, we apply day to day. Hope you observe or not, you know, once we listen any book, The Power of Now, or Breaking the Habits of Being Yourself. So we try to apply because we learned recently and we try to apply and then be in that state. So for meditators, especially, definitely once we learn, we try to, once the situation comes, we apply that. We try to apply that, we recollect immediately. So it's scientifically it explains, right? Now we understood how Apurva explained how it works, how the neural connections happens when you learn new things. So our neural connections get thicker and thicker when you practice, when you recollect things. So that is very, very important. Once we understand this concept, then definitely, it stores on our mind and okay, whatever we do, and then we try to apply and we, practice will be in that state. It's really, really helpful. This concept, every meditator should know how it happens, how things are happening. So knowledge and meditation. So that's what we are doing now, right? So Apurva is taking the sessions every day and then we are practicing meditation. So combination of this is very, very important. So now we understand the important how, then we can see how we can apply, you know, we are learning each and every topic, then we slowly apply that. That's great. Thank you, Apurva.
So most of the time, our unconscious, reaction or response will change. We take that response. That's the main thing, right? Immediately we get triggered, that amygdala hijack will happen. But when we are consciously aware, that response will, change. Yes. Yes, Chandraji. Please unmute yourself. Sorry, you can unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I actually, the subject when you started, it looks, I was just all the time, my mind was comparing to the normal activity going on in our mind, the learning side, and you are giving the biology or the anatomy, the physical functioning of the organs in that side. And that is really, they are all going in parallel. If we understand from hearing, listening, but if we actually understand how this works and stuff also, because sometimes for me, I'm continuously sitting in different meditation group and hearing, so my brain is not able to grasp anything new comes in the next one, because some of them, so I feel they're continuously sending some message, some new things. Sometimes there is a problem with amygdala too, that is started getting anxious, so it won't let that thing comes into your brain. And I am writing some of these things. I said, why should I write now? I know this, I had it before, but from Chandra sir and from you also in some books we were doing it. So I was thinking, but then what is that we do in everything to be memorized in India? Repeat, 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 and memorized. It's not going to bring you anything new. You just memorize what is given that moment. So they always say memorize the thing. Remember, they call it by heart or something in India. Memorize the thing, poetry and stuff, I understand. But there is no need to memorize any specific thing because it's going to be updated all the time. Our thoughts, except some scientific facts, what the neuron does, what the amygdala does, they are all fixed. That is the fact of science. But our reaction to it, how we are abide by those organs, that one fight fought method, maybe I can differently react, you differently react, but the result are the same and the body is doing the same. So there is no need to repeat anything. Repetition is not going to, I think in one place that came as knowledge is we have to, it's so many times if it is repeated, the action is going to come out every day. It becomes your routine. Then we are going to do the same, live that same principle. I think that's what I understood. My question is the repetition, sheer repetition is not going to help. Sometimes it becomes an old image. I can't move away from your study circle now. That becomes a kind of, yes, interesting. But one thing I like it is I come with a good spirit. It says, yeah, we are going to do something new, some information new. That is the main thing. That is the one giving us, encourage us to learn more and live through that. If I like it, okay, go ahead.
No, here repetition is when we want to learn something, that time we are repeating so that it gets stored,
Oh.
If one time if I read something, I might forget it, right? The more we learn, the more we are repeating. But this amygdala hide, right? If whatever we have learned, when in a situation, every time we act as what we have done in the past, because the same response comes because we have done it multiple times. If we consciously change that response once, you told something, I get
then that will be
next time I'll
registered.
say if Chandraji coming, oh, okay, she will say That is an. But if I take consciously one time, no, I know Chandraji, that's okay. Last time she has done something, but this time she might behave differently. I should not
Hmm.
think about her like that. If I make that change,
Yes.
then the next time when I meet you, then there'll be
It's a,
nothing. I forget
yeah.
whatever happened. I'll behave with you in a new way, right?
Yeah.
It's a conscious change. If you do one time, then the whatever is stored in subconscious mind that will not be there, and you'll be
Yeah.
a peaceful being. I'll accept you as you are. That's
Yes.
the
That is the thing. Without any images of the past from yesterday. You said it. That's good. Thank you, Apurva. You got the correct understanding. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. Once you make the conscious effort, the response will change when we do this meditation. Otherwise, unconsciously, we do a lot of things, right? The response will come. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. She said
She's
something. She
always
said
like
something.
this.
Yeah, she's always. We make,
Uh,
again, I make an image of you. That image
yeah.
forms.
That's where things happen. But yeah, it's no point in that repetition. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's good. That's the point I was trying to say, but you got it. That's great.
Yes. Wonderful. Thank you, Chandraji. So friends, with this,
Somebody is.
going to go into the meditation. And
I think
then,
someone raised the hand.
no, it was thumbs up for you.
Oh, thumbs up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So
Meditation.
now we know, no, we always say, right, the new response will come, we'll become in the present moment. But how this happens in the mind, how the signals goes and how the reaction will change, today we understood. So with this, let's do this meditation. So don't think about anything, just be with your breath.
Yeah, I don't want to. That will confuse me.
Yes. So as usual, we do the breath mindfulness meditation. So sit comfortably, close your eyes, clasp your hands, fingers into fingers, and observe your normal, natural breath. I'll play the music and guidance. Let thought comes. That's quite natural. We get thoughts multiple times. But whenever you realize you're in thoughts, bring attention back to the breath. As you observe the breath, at a point you find there is no breath. The breath becomes very subtle. Just be in that. No need to find the breath. If you can't find, just be as an observer, and you'll go into an empty state. Okay. So we'll play the guidance. So just follow and we'll do this meditation. Dear friends, dear masters, sit comfortably, close your eyes, clasp your hands, fingers into fingers, and gently place it on your lap. Observe your in-breath and the out-breath. Don't forcefully inhale or exhale. Just observe your normal, natural breath. Be with your breath, dear friends. Let thoughts come and go. When you observe your breath, your mind becomes empty. Our goal is to empty the mind. Be with your breath, dear friends. Go deeper and deeper into yourself. Be with your breath, dear friends. Allow yourself to merge into that emptiness. Experience the emptiness inside you, around you. Feel the energy within you. Bring your awareness back to the body. Recollect your experiences. What did you see And how did you feel? Relax and feel your body. Friends, at this moment, let's express gratitude. Gratitude to our parents, teachers, and mentors. Gratitude to our family members, friends, and everyone we know. Gratitude to Mother Earth, plants, and animals. Last but not least, gratitude to all the devices through which we are all connected. Let's elevate ourselves with these energies, with this feeling of love and compassion. Whenever you are ready, just place your hands on your eyes for 5 seconds and then slowly open your eyes. Welcome back, friends. I hope you had a good session. If anybody has any questions or want to share anything, you can unmute yourself. If you have any questions about the meditation or today's topic, anything. Tomorrow we'll have the session again at 9 p.m. Central Time with another wisdom session. So please do join daily so that we gain the wisdom. And the group meditation is very powerful. Today is also a full moon day. So full moon days are especially more powerful. The more you meditate, you can see the big difference. Okay, friends, if there are no questions, we'll see you all tomorrow at the same time. Thank you, everyone.